Hi, my wonderful friends. Well, of course you're wonderful if you're my friends. um, so I'm just chatting with you while I do a few things here. I'm cooking my rice. Damn, now I don't know. Okay, and I'm washing my hair because it's cold, but it's not as cold as -8 yesterday. At least not yet. So I want to get my hair washed before it does get a lot colder. So just trying to get everything organized here in the dark. The hard part of this is, oh, you know what I should do? I should wear a friggin' raincoat so I don't get my stuff wet. But anyways, I'm gonna try this anyways without that. Uh, so you're gonna get to see me make all the mistakes because I've never done this before in the dark. And wouldn't you know it, I finally found my shampoo and it says conditioner on it. So screw it, I got to do something. So I'm gonna conditioner wash my hair out of the need to do it. So let's just find ourselves something to pour over my head. And I figured I'd work with this little thing of water so I don't have to do two big ones. So I'm trying to conserve a little bit. So, okay, so there's a little bit of water. Oh, come on. And I hope I don't soak my clothes. Okay. I washed my hair with conditioner once by accident. I thought it was shampoo, and of course I didn't have my glasses on. And it actually wasn't horrible. Like it did clean my hair somewhat. It's probably just from scrubbing. And my hair felt great. So who knows? Maybe this will work somewhat. At least it'll cover the territory for now, because I got someone coming over tomorrow, and I just want to look and smell somewhat like a human and not an animal. Although maybe it's better just to be an animal and give in. Oh yeah, I should put a lid on that rice. So how is everybody? Was that good enough? I think. Almost put my finger in it. That was not a good hesitation. Well, it's good to hesitate, but not good to think of doing it. Maybe that's why. Okay, that is good and hot. Turn that off for now. And I will, might as well pour the rinse water over my head. So yeah, how is everybody? I'm here, let's go for some new water. I'm just gonna do it over here because this water might freeze tonight, and then I'll have a skating rink in the morning. Last night was one intense experiment in using my sleeping bag at -8, and I kept my coat on, my two pairs of long johns. I had a down vest, my coat, a hoodie, a t-shirt, two pairs of like a full body long johns, the onesies, and one pair of long johns, thick socks. They weren't wool though, which I'm upgrading to. Got them today. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I noticed one of my left foot, kind of the lower half of the foot, and my toes were numb. And it made me a little startled because I'm like, wow, like I just thought, is it possible to get frostbite or something and not be woken up by it? Because I don't know, I didn't feel it. I felt like there was a hair in my mouth. Blah. So that had me a little bit nervous. I've got to consider that. These are little risks that come with the. Oh God, that felt so good. Oh. So this is a great upgrade from what I did before. I had two big pots. One got all soapy, and then I had the other one to wash. But I'm now able to use one pot of hot water and use a small pot to use to pour over my head, so I don't contaminate that, and I still have non-soapy water to use. How do I can't even see how I look. I got my glasses to put on. Oh, I also went to the optometrist, and because my glasses were imbalanced, I got them tightened to stay on, but then they were kind of off like this, and I was going cross-eyed, I swear, especially tattooing where I had to focus. It was really hurting my eyes, so I was just getting too many things that weren't in harmony. One of the things that's hard on my eyes, I have to say, is not like anyone's gonna see me anyways. And I do have where's my hat? Just let it dry underneath the hat. Oh, there we are. So I went to my Birds Creek Farm Supply, and I bought a freaking $200 pair of Baffins. I think they're Baffin boots, but they're for -100, so like ice fishing and stuff, because even my warmish boots, that I mean, I've had them since Fergus, so maybe they're just too old. But even my warmish boots, my feet, once it gets to -8 and I'm sitting in the barn, my toes start to get cold, and that's just not good. So I got to get these. I got some gloves with liners for really good warmth for working and stuff, because now my hands are starting to freeze. I wired up my heated dog water bowl, so now that's ready, because this morning everything was frozen over. Everything, it was insane. They still haven't got in the order for heated. It's like a metal heating base for the chicken water, so that hasn't come in, so I still have to go in. This morning it was all frozen over, but inside seemed to be okay, so I poured the kettle boiling water over the little trough part of the ice, and it melted the ice and it let the water through, and the chickens were very happy. So they'll only have between when they wake up and I wake up and I've got to get up early tomorrow, so without water, if it is that cold. I'm curious actually how cold it is going to be tonight. I think it's -5 instead of -8, and then it's like -2, and then whatever, and we have a few days of slightly warmish. Not warm, but you know, compared to now. I don't know what's on the spoon. That doesn't look quite. Use the handle. Oh, anyway, so I got the dog's heated water bucket all hooked up. Maybe I'll just heat this up a bit again. And so that is full of water. I made a thermos kind of thing out of a garbage can for it, so it'll cut down on my heating costs. I got a thing to wrap around pipes and things that can freeze in the winter, and it puts electrical through it and keeps it warm from freezing. So I got that, and hopefully I can put that on the spout, control flow spout of my big water reservoir. I have a one that's inside to stop that from freezing, but it could be not frozen, and then the nozzle could be frozen. So I have to Jimmy figure out that. And I'm sure these things, sometimes I can unplug them in the warm weather, and then I can plug them back in the colder weather. So I'm trying to, this is like my first year, so I'm trying to get on top of things as fast as I can. It's a bit stressful. Everyone's so busy. My builder is only really kind of at the beginning of stuff right now for just getting my trailer winterized. So I'm having to face that idea that I'm going to have to go through November and December not ready. So that means making do. And I don't know, if I think about it too much, it just makes me really nervous, because it's a big learning curve adapting. Like I'm having to adapt to the heating system, and I don't know if I left it not tight with the propane. I left it on 65 degrees for about 4 days, and I went in the other day, and it was cold, and both of them had run out. So somehow it leaked, or it didn't keep it low temperature, or I don't know what. But my challenge is to not get wound up and to not get frantic in my mind, because it just becomes too hard to think and stressy. So my challenge is to stay calm, stay cool when these things come up, that I'm like, oh shit, like a client's coming or someone's coming, and what do I do? Or, I got to eat and I didn't get time to eat, or, all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to get on top of it. by next spring, oh my God, am I ever going to look forward to that? I don't even care about the black flies and stuff. I am going to be, by then, in some nice place-ish. Nice-ish place. No, it's going to be nice. And I'm hoping that I get the time and energy to build a... I call it a stack wall, but it's basically where you take logs and you stack them like bricks with mortar of some kind. And my friend Karen has a big house made that way. They made, and she inspired me. I always thought it would be a neat idea. I didn't know how good they were. She's had it for 20 years. She said it's great. When I'm in there, it's so comfortable, cozy, warm. It feels nice. It's wood. There's just a good feeling. So I like it. I think for sure for the sauna, I had plans once in a book. I might have to get the book again or find it online. But that's what I'm hoping is some fun project next year, minus stress. And if I'm doing it myself, maybe with the help of a few friends that know how. I don't know yet because everyone's busy here. But, oh yeah, so my builder, materials are all spoken for. Like he said, trying to find lumber is really difficult, and that's slowing him down as well. Plus he has all these other jobs because everyone's scrambling to get ready for winter, and there's a lot of people destitute. So you know, what do you do? Everyone's having a hard time. Everyone's stressing and whatever, and it takes a lot of work to try and be supportive for others while you're freaking out yourself. Like someone just called me, a way back friend. She was actually babysitter of Raven's daughter way back, and she's telling me that she's getting kicked out of her house. Like I didn't have time to even listen because I'm in such a frantic state trying to get things done for tomorrow. But she's getting kicked out of her house in a week or two, and she was crying, and I want to help her out, but I didn't have the time, so I said I'll call you tomorrow. But this is what's happening, you know, in life. I don't know how many people are doing really well, and the scary part is even the people who are doing well-ish or whatever, how long is that sense of security going to last? How is it an illusion? You know, there is no certainty ever. So, you know, I hope it doesn't happen to everyone. I hope, you know, whatever, you know, I'm just really trying to work at, even with my family, it's hard to keep the division, you know, the polarized things at bay. Like I'm not allowed to talk about anything. I can't talk about anything medical. The other day, my mother had an accident a while back, a couple of weeks ago, and her swelling was abnormal, and she wasn't comfortable enough to go in to the hospital to get an x-ray, so they were waiting till she's feeling good enough to go in. And meanwhile, it could be a blood clot, it could be anything. So I got a little bit stressed about that, and I was saying, well, I called my paramedic friend in that area, and he says, yeah, just call the ambulance, they'll take her in, she get her x-ray right away, take her back as well. So I talked to my sister, and somehow I triggered her, and then she said, you're not allowed to talk about Western medicine topics at all. And then, of course, obviously I felt like I was shut out. It's like the death grip is getting tighter and tighter on what I'm allowed to say. I feel like my family think I'm just some wacko that's speaking nonsense, and I still have a hard time. How is it that I'm just being concerned about someone is taken by a family member as something horrible? So, and I'm also told by my mother that I'm not allowed to talk about, like she said, oh, she used the word philosophizing, and I think she just meant speaking my truth, and anything outside of the box to her and my sister is weird gobbledygook. I don't push anything onto anyone, as you guys know. I did when things first started and I cooled myself down. I realized different stages, what was happening and what doesn't need to happen. And I definitely also, with my wife's death, I don't have whatever it takes to fight on that level. So my fight is just being true to myself, loving all you guys, and I'm talking about I'm talking to the world, and doing my best to feel that love and show that love no matter what someone's choices are, what someone's background is, what someone's color of skin is, what color their eyes are, what if they pick their nose or not. if they're being kicked out of their house or they're living in a lap of luxury. Like, I'm trying to keep my heart open, and I'm trying to also deal with my own stuff. But I'll tell you, it is really difficult. I get support from my mother and sister on one level, but it's kind of like conditional. Well, it is conditional. It's like, we'll support you if you act this way. And as it goes, it keeps getting narrower and narrower as the chinks get put in. And it stresses me out, you know. So I'm in between a rock and a hard place. You know, I love my family, but the controllingness of it, and I don't think they are aware that they're doing this at all. And my other sister thinks they're doing it out of fear, and I would say probably they're in a little box. They can't think outside that box, and the box is getting smaller, and they just don't have the ability. They never have thought outside the box all their lives. And that's what, when I think outside the box, my mother just thinks I'm being weird and I'm going to scare people away. And she said I sound like Jehovah's Witness. And I'm like, I'm pretty open and flexible. If anything, it's the other way around, and they're shadow projecting, because whenever I've had any kind of interaction with Jehovah's Witness, they want me to read their book, but they won't read my book, because I offered that once. I said, okay, we'll read each other's book and then we'll sit down and chat. No, we can't do that. So that's actually my mom and sister. This is their life. These are their rules. This is what they accept. Anything outside of that is radical and weird and troublemakerish. And meanwhile, I'm trying to get through this difficult time after Raven died. It's, you know, I make the best of it. And I am doing the best. I'm not lying or anything, but I get some deep, heavy, difficult times, and I just feel boxed in. It's a bit scary. This is all new to me, surviving this, you know, like yesterday night, waking up in the morning, and having my toes frozen. That it was a little bit scary, you know. So I'm realizing there are things I got to stay really on top of and very savvy. I'm by myself in the middle of nowhere, you know. It's easy to freeze. It's easy to get frostbite. It's easy for these things, and I just want to stay really on top of stuff, and organized, and try to get as prepared as I can. I've got a whole bunch of dry food just in case things get snowed in, or I can't get out, or you know, things shut off. I'm going to have to start collecting gas, which is so expensive for the generator, for when we get power cuts. We always get them, so it's not like it's not going to happen. And if there's heavy snow, that tends to increase that chance. So anyways, I'm just giving you a little update on what things I'm having to deal with as the cold weather comes, and as whatever happens, like whatever's going on in the world. I can't eat in restaurants. Raven's daughter, who works in restaurants, is telling me all the news about how things work there, and the restaurant owners are not going to make anything. They have to raise their minimum wage, which is just going to knock them flat. They don't have any money to pay anyone anyways. Waiters and other staff, bartenders, always got a minimum wage and relied on their tips. Well, now they have to get this other minimum wage, which is a lot more, and I don't know how they're going to deal. But, you know, so I feel for the restaurants. They're afraid to let people in that, you know, don't have their passport and stuff. I get it. And I'm fine. I don't eat in restaurants that much anyways. But, you know, when times get really difficult and you're freezing and you just want to get warm. And like when it was my birthday, all I wanted to do was just go and sit at a table in a restaurant and just have a little meal. And I couldn't, you know, because I'm a leper. I'm an outcast. And it just gets to you after a while, you know. And I try not to get political anymore. So I'm not talking about anything outside beyond that. I'm just talking about my direct experience. I'm not complaining. I'm just voicing. I'm just sharing, because there will be many people listening who will oppose my views and have different ideas. And there'll be many people that have shared similar views, and then other people that are actually having similar experiences. So I feel it is important once in a while just to touch bases and let you know what's happening on that level, or, you know, in other levels. So I don't talk about it too much because that is kind of a little promise to myself. But my rice is looking really good. Oh boy. It is looking really good. I just suddenly all I want to do is eat rice. It's hot. It's basmati. I got to melt some butter into it, and then I'm gonna take some chicken, if I can find it, and just cook it up. Pieces of chicken. I got some a little jar of curry. Just treated myself. It was $6 at No Frills, which $6 would be a meal generally speaking once I divvy certain meat up and things. But I want to, yeah. Anyways, I'm just gonna treat myself. So this is what I'm doing. I hope everyone there is doing really well. Give me some feedback, please. I feel like I'm sounding desperate here, but it's like, what does it take just to watch my video and comment if you feel like it? Like if you have watched it, please leave a comment. I just would like to hear from people out there. It would just be really nice just to get some kind of conversation of some sort. But anyways, if you don't want to, that's great too. But I would love just someone to make a comment so I feel like I've got some sort of interaction here. So I'm going to get this stuff finished, and I will talk to you tomorrow morning if I have time while I'm getting ready. Have a wonderful night, everybody. I love you all from the bottom of my heart, and Raven loves you as well from the bottom of her heart, and I keep it with me in my pocket always. Thank you. Good night.